Let's continue our discussion of percent increase and percent decrease using diagrams. So question number 1, what percentage of the car price is the tax? If the car price is $2,400 before tax, what is the cost of the car after tax? So we're going to get that information by looking at this tape diagram over here. All right, this tape diagram represents how the tax compares with the entire car price. So let's see, what do we know? We know the car price is $2,400. So let's write that in here. So $2,400 is the car price. So that represents these 4 blocks. All right, so I want you to think about percent-wise what each of these rectangles would represent. Okay. All right, let's put a dollar amount inside each of these rectangles. We can see that this is split into 4 pieces. So if I take $2,400 and divide that by 4, each of these is going to be $600. 600 plus 600 plus 600 plus 600 is $2,400. So this block, this tax block, is equivalent to these other blocks here. So that's another $600 there for tax, according to this diagram. All right, so let's see if we can answer these 2 questions here. What percentage of the car price is the tax? I want you to see if you can think of it before I talk about it. You got it? All right, so each of these blocks, remember this whole thing, this whole car price is basically 100%, right? This is 100%. So if I split that into 4 equal pieces, each of these pieces represents 25%. All right, this is 25%, 25%. And so the total there, that would be 100%. That's the car price, 100%. So this block is adding on another 25%. So the tax is 25%. That's pretty high. All right, what is the cost of the car after tax? Well, we're going to add in that extra $600. Cost of the car after tax is the $2,400 plus the $600 in tax is $3,000. All right, similar problem number 2. Here's your tape diagram. I want you to, this one's discount though. The other one was tax. We were adding on an amount. Number 2, we've got the shirt cost, which is all 3 of these blocks. And we're going to discount that shirt cost by a certain amount. So pause the video and see if you can answer that one and then restart it when you're done. All right, the question says, what percent of the shirt cost is the discount? And if the shirt costs 63% originally, what did the shirt cost after the discount? So the shirt cost $63 originally, so that's this total amount, all 3 of these blocks. Right? That's what this is saying. All 3 of these blocks have to add up to 63. So to figure out the dollar amount in each block, I'm going to divide 63 by 3, and that's going to give me 21. So each of these blocks is $21. So the amount of discount is going to be $21. And so the cost of the shirt after the discount is going to be these 2 blocks, which is $42 right here. So we'll talk about the percent here in a second. So the cost of the shirt after discount is $42. There we go. Okay, now what about the percent? So again, remember the shirt cost, the whole shirt cost is 100% before the discount. All right, so all 3 of these things represent 100%, all 3 blocks. So if we take 100% and we divide it into those 3 blocks, you're going to get 33.3333 repeating, which we can write more concisely as 33 1/3%. All right, so each of these blocks are represent 33 1/3% of the original price of the shirt. So if we're discounting 1/3, that's 33 and a third percent. So what percentage of the shirt cost is the discount? It's a 33 and 1/3% discount. All right, so the next box is going to talk about something that's super important, which is an idea of a multiplier. And we're going to be using this a lot. So we really want to make sure we understand this idea of a multiplier. So in the examples we've looked at so far, we've seen various ways that we can find the resulting amount of a quantity given that's increased or decreased by a certain percent. So the first problem we looked at was a 20% increase in this box of cereal that resulted in 540 milligrams, which in the future we're going to change to grams. We can find this amount in one calculation. The simplest calculation way to do this is to say, hey, we're starting with 100% of the cereal. Now we're going to add on 20% more cereal. That means we're going to have 120% of the original amount of cereal. Now, if we change 120% into a decimal, that decimal value is 1.2. And we refer to 1.2 as the multiplier in this scenario. Because all we have to do is take the original amount and times it by the multiplier. This is really important. All right, so we're going to take the original amount, which in this case was the amount of cereal that we had, and we're going to multiply it by the multiplier. And that's going to tell us the new amount. And this will work for a percent increase or a percent decrease. All right, we're going to look at a decrease here in a minute. So that's what we did. We took the original amount, which was the 450, and we multiplied it by the multiplier of 1.2, and we're given the new amount of cereal, the 540. Let's see how this multiplier would work with a discount. So we also saw an example where we had a 25% decrease of a stock of 64 hats, resulting in a stock of 48 hats. Okay, how do we find the multiplier for this? Here we go. This is really important. So to find the multiplier, we say, hey, we're going to take 100% of our hats and we're going to decrease them by 25%. So that means we're only going to have 75% of our hats. Now we take the 75%, we write that as a decimal, and that decimal is the multiplier. So all we have to do is take the original amount, the 64 hats, times the multiplier, and that will tell us the new amount of hats. We can do it in one quick and easy step. All right, let's look at a couple more of these. Let's say you want to increase a quantity by 13%. So you want what percent of the quantity? If you're increasing by 13%, let's go back up here again and look how we did these. If we were increasing by 20%, we took 100% plus 20%. If we're decreasing by a certain percent, we do 100% minus that percent. So increase, add the percent to 100, decrease, subtract that percent from 100. So let's say you want to increase a quantity by 13%. So you're going to take the 100% that you have. Now let me write it up here, so we'll write our final answer in that. We're going to take the 100% that we currently have, the original amount, and we want to increase that by 13%. So we want 113% of the original quantity. So what's our multiplier? It's the decimal representation of 113%. Remember, percent means per hundred. 113% means 113 per hundred. And if we divide that by 100, we get 1.13. So that is our multiplier. So anything you want to increase by 13%, you just take the original amount, you times it by 1.13, and you'll be given the new amount, which is the result of an increase of 13%. All right, so let's decrease it now. Let's say we want to decrease a quantity by 13%. Then we're going to take all of what we started with, 100% of what we started with, we're going to subtract decrease by 13%, which means we're only going to have 87% left. So we want 87% of the quantity, the original quantity. So what's the multiplier? Well, it's just the decimal representation of 87%. Remember, 87% means 87 per 100, and if you divide that out, you're going to get 0.87. Or if you just think about place values, 87 hundredths. That's exactly how you read this number, 87 hundredths, tenths, hundredths. I know a lot of you have done the whole deal of move the decimal 2 places to the left, and that's great, you know, that works. Like here's the decimal to, or percent to change it to a decimal, move the decimal 2 places to the left. But I kind of want you to understand why. You know, why are we doing that? You know, it's because percent means per 100. And when you divide by 100, yes, you move the decimal 2 places to the left. All right, let's see if we can work with these multipliers here in the next activity. Number 1, from the year 2020 to the year 2021, the price of gasoline increased by 49%. If the price of gasoline was $2.41 per gallon in 2020, what was the price in 2021? And we want to use the multiplier. Okay, so we have 2020, the price was $2.41, and we want to figure out the price in 2021, and we know that it increased by 49%. Increase by 49%. Okay, so what's our multiplier? We want to take 100% of the $2.41, and then we want to add on 49%. Well, we don't want to, but that's what happened. So the new price is going to be 149% of the original price. What's the decimal for 149%? That's 1.49. So all we have to do is multiply 2.41 times 1.49, and my calculator says 3.5909. Now since this is money, I'm going to round it to the nearest penny. So I'll cut it off here. That 0 is not going to round anything up, so it's going to be $3.59. Does that seem reasonable for a 49% increase? I think so. All right, you guys try number 2 now. Pause the video and try number 2, and then restart it when you've got your answer. All right, let's take a look. So at the beginning of 2020, or not 2020, 2000, a Stripes Beanie Baby sold for $250. By the end of the year, the price had fallen, so a decrease of 89%. That's no good. What was the sale price at the end of the year? So this is the beginning of the year 2000. We'll call this the end of the year 2000. Okay, so what's our multiplier? It's not 0.89, all right? You want to decrease, you got to do this business over here. We're starting with 100% of the value of our Beanie Baby, and it's Beanie Baby, yes, decreasing by 89%. So we're only left with 11% of our original value. That's sad. All right, so what is the multiplier for 11%? That's going to be 0.11. So we're going to take $250 times 0.11, and we get $27. Oh, that's so sad. And 50 cents. That's not how much it decreased. That is what it's worth. Right? If you're losing 89% of the value, you're losing almost all the value of the item. Okay? All right, so hopefully this idea of multipliers makes sense to you, because it's an extremely important idea. If you have questions, make sure you reach out.